Good evening, everybody. I'm Roy Firestone, and this is Up Close Classic. He won 6 NBA championships, 5 MVP awards, 2 Olympic gold medals, and countless other accolades. Considered by many the greatest athlete of the 20th century. He is, of course, Michael Jordan, the best player the NBA has ever seen. But in 1984, he was a soft-spoken college junior from North Carolina. The measure of success and greatness in basketball, the University of North Carolina, is not the awards and trophies. It's having a sandwich named after you. Let me give you an example. There is the sandwich named after Sam Perkins. There is the Big McAdoo named after Bob McAdoo. Dean Smith has his Smithsonian, the Larry Miller Filler, and yes, there is now the Jordan sandwich. Let's discuss why it was almost a tongue sandwich. You know the reason. A lot of people don't. You have a habit of sticking your tongue out a lot on the court, huh?
Well, it's a habit that I picked up when I was small, and I got it from my father, and I just can't get rid of it.
Not a real big surprise. Michael Jordan, the unanimous first-team All-American for the second straight season, leading scorer in the ACC, a 19.6 average. He shot 55% from the field, 77% from the free throw line. An outstanding story. Michael Jordan, as you'll learn in just a few moments, didn't make his high school basketball team one year and sprouted up from a height of 6'1", which obviously is not very tall for a basketball player, to 6'5" in 1 year. Let's backtrack for a moment. You didn't make a high school basketball team. Now you're the nation's best college player?
Well, I didn't make my varsity, and that was a big thing in high school, and I wasn't that good. I was at a height of 6'1", and I really didn't develop my abilities until after I grew up.
Michael, what were you eating that you can sprout up 4 inches like that?
I don't know. Whatever I was eating, it was good, and it helped me out a bit.
They call you the Rabbit. That's one of the nicknames you had growing up. Let me tell you a little bit about this guy. He worked so hard. One year he was running a 4.640. From 1 year to the next, he knocked that down from a 4.640 to a 4.340. You work very, very hard, and you've worked very hard in your basketball skills as well. It's been very important to you, right?
I just think that I have the habits of working hard. I always been taught that to reach a goal that in life that you want, you have to work hard to get to it. And so far, I just, have that in mind. You
were the third of 5 children in your family. You come from a very, very close family. Your brother Larry, though, who is only 5'7", was your big hero. In fact, he was your main inspiration. Is that not right?
Yeah, he did. Larry used to be a very talented basketball player. He still is. And whenever I was about his height, he used to wear me out in the backyard. And I guess from that determination just to beat him, I guess that made me work hard. Mm-hmm. And, he's just an outstanding basketball player at his height.
People discuss all the times the academic as well as the athletic aspects of this game. You have to be a rare story because you weren't necessarily recruited by North Carolina, though they were interested in you. But you went to the campus yourself because you wanted to see for yourself what the school is about academically, right?
Yeah, North Carolina wasn't recruiting me at this time. I had this Project Uplift, which is an organization where high school students get the chance to go to colleges and just see how it's like. And I got the chance to visit North Carolina, and I saw not just the bad side, but I saw the good side also. And I wasn't shielded away from the university as a lot of schools do. So I got to see the whole university within itself without the coaches knowing.
Once upon a time, you were an NC State fan. In fact, you were not a big fan of North Carolina's. You were a David Thompson fan. And you rooted against North Carolina State, North Carolina, I should say, all the time.
I was a very avid NC State fan. I really liked them very much. I was really a David Thompson fan with his style of play. And I just couldn't stand Carolina. I don't know why. It's just something that I didn't like about Carolina. And, when I got the chance to visit both schools, then I saw the family-like atmosphere in North Carolina that fitted me well.
You wouldn't know it. This guy very nearly became an NCAA baseball player. In fact, I know that deep down, baseball might be your first love. Billy Martin is one of your inspirations and your biggest heroes. Now, people would say, Michael Jordan, he loves Billy Martin. How could that be?
I just like his controversial attitude. He always aroused the fans and still maintains a good record.
How good a baseball player were you?
I wasn't that good.
Now, we hear differently.
I was pretty good. I played baseball ever since I was 7, and I continued to play up until my 11th grade year.
What position?
I pitched, and I played center field, first base. I was somewhat utility man.
Yeah.
But I just enjoyed playing, and I did get a couple of offers along with my basketball offers, and I just gave it up once I got to college.
I want to talk about his dedication, his love, and his belief in himself in terms of being on the court or wherever the athletic arena is. This is a quote from Dean Smith. He said of you, he doesn't come out and say, I'm better than you, but somewhere something comes through that he feels he is better as a player. Is that fair, do you think?
I don't know. I think it's fair coming from Coach Smith. He's a coach that finds a lot of weaknesses in your game, and he wants you to improve on your weaknesses. And you know, he will find a weakness until you graduate. And you know, coming from him, I think that's a fair statement.
Coming up on Up Close Primetime, Michael Jordan on trash talking with the fans. Welcome back to Up Close Classic. Michael Jordan is one of the world's most recognizable celebrities. He's mobbed by fans virtually everywhere he goes, forcing him to sometimes take drastic measures.
You decided one day in St. Louis that you were going to visit a mall, kind of a lazy afternoon. This is what Michael Jordan has to do when he wants to go visit a mall, to go a little shopping. You wear disguises, right? Like the other Michael.
Yeah, I did to a certain extent. Not the way I have mustaches and fake stuff on, but I had shades. I turned my head and my hat backwards and then wear high water shorts and pants and stuff and look just kind of awkward.
And you figured that would be enough. How long did that last?
About an hour and 15 minutes, not long.
They recognized you, that was the end of the Michael Jordan!
Yeah, a couple of my teammates were with me, but what gave it away, I was walking with Brad Sellers, and he was, you know, 7 feet, and everybody sees 7-foot guy, they're going to say, well, he plays basketball, and then they kind of stare at me, and that gives it away.
Well, people always ask it. I'll ask it again. Do you feel you're a prisoner of your own fame?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I kind of brought this on myself, but there's some advantages and disadvantages for being in my shoes. But yeah, when you want to go to a mall and when you want to enjoy yourself and hang out with the guys, it makes it tough. But you have to put up with it, and sometimes you want it. I mean, initially when I first got into the league, it was fun. You have to admit, to sign autographs and be recognized and people know who you are. It's fun, but after a while it does get old, and now this is something that I have to deal with it because I enjoyed it from the beginning, but I have to deal with it now.
We'll talk about your game for a little bit, and then we're going to talk about other things in your life. Your game is changing a lot, not as dazzling on a certain level, but on another level it's even more dazzling because there's not as many slam dunks. We saw the other night a game that you played where I think you had one slam dunk. They want you to take the shot now outside, and you did against Sacramento.
Well, I'm taking what the defense is giving me. I think the scouting report, if I'm not mistaken, about Michael Jordan is that make him shoot the outside shot. And once he shoots the outside shot, if he can't hit it, then you know, that's his weakness. And now I'm starting to take my outside shot a lot more because it sets up everything for me. You know, if I shoot the outside shot, then that means the defense has got to come out and play me. And that allows me to go past him and get those spectacular dunks that the fans want to see.
I was going to ask you about these spectacular dunks, and there's a lay-in that's even more spectacular on some level. Do you feel that you have to outdo yourself nightly? I mean, do you feel as though, look at that. I mean, when are you going to say, I don't think I can beat that. I don't think I could possibly eclipse what I just showed to the folks?
When I retire. I think that you always feel that you can improve. And
look at that reaction.
I never stop. You know, I'm always saying that I want to improve, and you know, it's tough some nights when you're playing away from home because you know their fans want to see their team win and see you score 50. That's just the way they want to see it. But you want to do whatever you can to help the team win, and sometimes you please both by scoring 50 and yet disappointing them too by winning.
You were the first player in NBA history to get 200 steals and 100 blocks in the same season. Then you did it again. I think that may be the crowning jewel for you. Aside from all the scoring championships, the fact that you are considered now the greatest defensive player in the game.
I like to be known for my defense. I think that's something that's overlooked. I think offensively, when I average or score 50 to 50-some points, that can be seen. That's what most people see, is the scoring part. But they don't see the defensive part of the game. So I enjoy getting the recognition on the defensive end because it complements my offensive skills.
Are you able to make the transition, though, from offense to defense as easily as you'd like? They say if there's one part of the game that perhaps you'd like to improve on, that would be it.
Yeah, I would think that being that I'm not called upon to do so much on the offensive end, I think that allows me more energy to be a Michael Cooper or Alvin Robinson who can deny the ball and play him straight up defense. A lot of my defense comes from the gambling, where the teams, where I'm allowed to lead my man and help out on the big guy and sneak up from behind and get the block shot or the steal. And a lot of people say that's gambling, but gambling is a part of defense.
My favorite moment, I think, in all of last year was when you slammed a dunk, and a big monster dunk over John Stockton of the Jazz, and one of the fans yelled out, you know what I'm going to say, one of the fans yelled out, hey, pick on somebody your own size. And the next opportunity you had, you slammed a jam over Mel Turpin, who's about 6'10", and you yelled back at the fan. What did you yell at him?
Is he big enough?
Is he big enough? You like to talk to the fans on the court.
I do. I think the fans should be involved in it. They're here to see the game. They're here to see the entertainment. And if you don't talk back to them, then it seems like you're isolated from him. And I like talking back to him. I think Magic does it, and I think it's a part of the game. I think it shows that you enjoy the game so much that you don't feel that the game is such a business that you don't want to talk to people and show that you love the game.
We want to talk about the dunk. But before we get into the people who shaped you and inspired you to dunk, I want to talk about where the dunk comes from, where your game comes from. Rural North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina. We have some video of the beauty that is North Carolina and those lazy summer afternoons playing on the blacktop. Let's reminisce a little bit. There, of course, is the campus. And what North Carolina gave you in your life that maybe you couldn't have gotten in a big city?
Well, I think from a big city, it kept me out of a lot of trouble. I think you go into a big city, you got the more chances to be into trouble. Plus, being in North Carolina, I think it put me in a residential background that your parents could have a bigger influence on you, I think. And plus, I think it helps me keep my mind to earth. You know, being in a big city, you kind of get caught up in the glamour a little bit, and being from North Carolina, you kind of keep your feet on the ground. But
childhood friend of James Worthy, by the way, too.
Yeah.
Right? Play a lot of one-on-one on the courts.
We did in college a lot, but I think that the University of North Carolina really gave me all the different fundamentals that I've learned about basketball and little things about life. I think they really taught me a lot about it.
9 years ago, I think it was only 9 years ago, Wilmington, one night, Williston High School against D.C. Virgo. You remember the night? You were 5'9", a ninth grader, and you were junior high school dunking for the first time.
Didn't know I did it.
Not a lot of junior high school kids can dunk, especially at 5 foot.
But everybody tries now.
I bet
everybody
now.
tries.
You remember the night when the fans went ooh and ah, and it really kind of powered you? It was almost like a natural athletic high.
Right. I remember I've gotten a steal. I was on the break, and I've been trying in practice for so many times, and I never seemed to do it. And I guess the intensity of the fans and of the game, I went up to lay it in, not to dunk it, but to lay it in, and I felt I was high enough to dunk the ball. And I kind of just flipped it over and dunked it. And it was a baby dunk, but it was a dunk.
You didn't do one of those parallel to the basket things or anything
No,
like that?
no.
Remember watching TV when you were a kid and seeing Dr. J and saying, I want to be like this guy?
I've seen Dr. J. I mean, he was an epitome of a lot of kids. I mean, when you thought of the NBA, you thought of Dr. J. That's how much he meant to the game. He carried that label for that long, and everyone wanted to see him dunk the ball. So I think his dunks really inspired a lot of people besides myself.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at Julius in action. There he is. Whoa! What do you call this one right there?
I don't know. I think Dr. J is like myself. We never really name our dunks. We let the fans do that. I think they enjoy doing that. We enjoy doing them, and I think they enjoy naming them.
Do you feel that you carry on Julius's legacy to this game?
I think I have a part of it. I think Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas, I think all these people, along with myself, carry that label of the NBA. I think Julius and I are very similar in terms of what we try to do with the kids and what positive role models that we try to be. But I don't think anyone can carry the legacy like he carried it.
You're talking this before about the kids and how important it is to be a role model. For whether you want to or not, it is the case in your life. And you've got 5,000 square feet living out of Chicago, a beautiful new home. You've got a Porsche, you've got a black Vet, multi-millions of dollars. But still, when you get one-on-one with a child, and you are moved by a child for whatever reason, in this case it would be the Make-A-Wish Foundation, all the money in the world doesn't mean that much. It's just you and that child, right?
You're right. You feel how fortunate you are that you obtained something like this, and that is the picture. I remember I was playing him one-on-one in a wheelchair, and I thought it would be easy, and it wasn't. That little kid just wore me out, and it made me praise him a lot for having the determination to keep hold of those dreams of playing basketball, and I had to feel a lot for him because he really felt that he could beat me, and in those dreams he wanted to play me, and he beat me in fair and square in his game, and you have to think about that for a minute, and you can't. I don't feel above those people when I do those things. It really brings me down to earth when I do those things.
For all of the things that you have going for you in life, and it is considerable. I mean, you are the Michael Jackson of professional sports, all of sports, truly. That you don't ever lose sight of the fact that, my God, I love playing this game. I love the fact that I can virtually have anything I want, but I never forget who I am. You are anchored to that belief.
And that comes from my parents, I think. It's great. I love the game of basketball, and I feel that if I didn't get paid right now, I still play the game of basketball without a doubt. And I don't want to ever lose that love. If I do, then I want to quit. I know this is a business. I know a lot of people make a lot of money in the game of basketball, but no one can express or pay the love that I have for the game because I've done it for so many years. And it's just brought me some riches, and it's brought me some different things. But I still owe basketball a lot, and I still love the game.
When we come back, the early conflicts between Jordan and the other NBA superstars.
I skipped a lot of steps coming into the league. I didn't work my way up to the top. I skipped a lot of steps, and sometimes that creates some jealousy.
Welcome back. When Michael Jordan entered the NBA in 1984, it was the league of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. And while it seems hard to imagine today, back then Michael was often cast in the role of the outsider.
Let's talk about your peers. We have the cover of the Street and Smith annual basketball issue, and there it is, Larry and Michael and Magic. When you're on the court with either of those guys, do you ever say, wow, I wish I could do that, or I wish I would have done it that way?
Yeah. I'm amazed by certain things that they do, and sometimes it is a sense of trying to imitate one of those players.
Or intimidate, too, whatever the case might be, right?
But I love playing with those guys because you know they're going to be very competitive. They got hearts just like you. They want the ball when the time is running out. And they're one of the greatest players in the league, and sometimes it's great to play against players like that. And a lot of people compare us, and a lot of people put one above the other, which I don't think is fair to either one of us. But it's fun. I love being around them.
It wasn't always fun, though, admittedly, with you and Magic and Isaiah. I'm talking about 1985. A lot of basketball fans are aware there was what they call the freeze-out. For some reason, Isaiah and Magic didn't necessarily like what you were doing on the court, and they decided to have their own little freeze of Michael Jordan, to literally not let them be affected by you or for you to be a factor in the game. You were able to smooth it over the years, but initially it was difficult to get acceptance.
It was tough because I was very confused. I didn't understand exactly what was going on. I didn't understand the reasoning. I felt that, I always felt that I was the lowest on the totem pole and had to work my way up, so I didn't go in cocky. I made sure that I wasn't going to do that. But I finally figured out as I got older that natural jealousy is a part of professional sports and any job. And I felt I skipped a lot of steps coming into the league. I didn't work my way up to the top. I skipped a lot of steps, and sometimes that creates some jealousies and just natural jealousies. But right now, I think we both, and all three of us, we realize and we respect all of us, all three of us, and we've gotten over that period. I think that was more or less the initial part of it, and I still respect both of them, and I spent a lot of time with Magic in his game. And
What'd you score, by the way, in the Magic All-Star game this past year?
52, 50 something?
55.
Something like that.
I just want to find out if you were paying attention.
But I enjoyed it. I mean,
55.
I saw him, spent some time with him at the fight,
Yeah.
the Tyson fight, and then I came back in the latter part of the summer for a vacation of 7 days, and I called him up and see what he was doing, and we met at a club, and
That's nice.
we hung out. But I think we're all over that period. It's something that initially happened, and I don't have any regrets or any problems with them right now.
You mentioned the Tyson fight. I wasn't going to bring this up, but I will anyway, I guess. There was a rumor that Robin Givens sent her resume to ProServe, your management firm, seeking to date Michael Jordan. Is that true?
It wasn't really her resume.
What was it then?
I was back in school. I was working on my degree, and I think she was coming up for a new show, which was head of the class, and she had a premiere party for that. And her publicist asked who would she love to escort her to the party, and she threw out my name, not thinking that her publicist would track me down to see if I wanted to go. And he did. He sent her bio to ProServe, and ProServe sent it to me, and I was in my final exams, and I couldn't go, and I called up and said I wouldn't be able to make it, and hopefully sometime I get a chance to meet her.
All things being equal, maybe this is unfair, but are you glad that maybe one thing didn't lead to another and that maybe she was Mrs. Jordan?
No, at the time I was in a relationship, so
Oh, I see.
I see how you I was covered.
We do this periodically for special people, and that is I'll throw a word at you. It doesn't have to be a one-word response. Maybe it can be a few sentences, but these are important words in life, and maybe you give us some insights as what they mean to you. What's triumph mean? What do you associate with triumph?
Winning, all the time, winning.
How about joy?
The game, I love the game.
Fear, what's your big fear?
Snakes.
Snakes? Just any kind of snake?
Any kind of snake.
Doesn't have to be poisonous?
No.
How about freedom, on and off the court?
The game, I love the game. It frees me from a lot of things.
Art, feel you're an artist out there?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm an artist, especially when I create, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Love?
My parents.
Passion.
The game.
Reverts back there.
Yeah.
Finally, the moment. When is the moment? When does it become the moment?
When you're on top.
Michael Jordan retired at the top of his game after the 1998 NBA season. In that last season, he dominated the league, leading the Bulls to a 6th championship and winning the MVP for both the regular season and the playoffs. His name is synonymous with greatness. He's the standard by which all future NBA superstars will be judged. I'm Roy Firestone. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Up Close Classic.